Go to bed.
Good night. Hi, host Eric here doing the last video of the evening, I think. And it's going to be on reassurance. And I personally think reassurance is important. People worry about shit in life. And if I think that somebody's worried about something that involves me, I would generally go out of my way to reassure them just based on the presumption that I'm right. Now, the people I tend to want to reassure, of course, right now, more than anybody else, if I sense that they're worried, would be my parents because they're quite old and inclined towards perhaps unnecessary worries about things that they're unfamiliar with and assume are probably risky that aren't necessarily risky at all or matters like that. But I'd say children need a lot of reassurance too, and I try to reassure them when I'm doing coaching stuff. They're all terrified of failure, and they don't want to fail publicly, least of all. They know that they're not yet good at this thing. They don't know if they're ever going to be good at this thing, and yet they're asked to do it in front of people right away. And so it requires a lot of attending to their souls. Um, One counterintuitive way I deal with that is, especially at the beginning of classes, I always start by telling everybody how they're constantly failing. Um, and kind of make a joke of it or whatever, but just say, so everybody gets up and every single person is like 5 seconds into the speech to go, failure, sit down. That way everybody gets right off the bat that they're just all failures. And then, but they also get that it's totally okay to be a failure because I'm not actually mad. I'm just sort of just failing on one right after another, making a point. And that helps kind of loosen everybody up when they accept that they can't win, right? They can't win the, oh, I'm good, because none of them are good yet because they're all new. That helps. But the other thing that helps is to have honest conversations where you sit down and you say, look, you have a lot of ability and you can be really good at this stuff, but you're gonna have to trust me because you don't trust yourself and you got a lot of defeatist self-talk and stuff like that. You gotta have those kind of conversations sometimes too. So I feel like talking about reassurance because it came up as Kim was talking, but also because I was thinking about it today as I reflected on my personal history with my friend Corey and how things have played out. And I don't know what's going on right now. I generally get the sense that he just sort of is trying to excise me from his life as much as possible. He certainly isn't responsive to any moves I make towards like let's go hang out or whatever. So he told me doesn't really want to participate in the band anymore, which I mean I can understand there's been a long hiatus and shit like that, and but you know it's a little frustrating because it's not like I have access to seeing him very much in other capacities. But the reason it ties in with reassurance is because um, he's never he's never been very reassuring about anything. You know, I think one of the best messages you can give is that may fail, but it is good for you to keep doing it and keep trying it. That is a kind of encouragement that's also reassurance. You're reassuring the person that their effort is more important than their outcome. And I mean, you don't want to. I try to pitch both messages in general when I'm dealing with kids, saying like outcome's hugely important because it is. I'm here to win. We're here to win. But also, in the practice of actually coaching them in the day to day operations of it, it's all about the necessity to practice the behaviors poorly in order to attain the ability to practice them well. And, you know, it's a very NTP approach to understanding anything. Your job is to get better at it, always get better at it. but I find it a very reassuring world to be in, because if that's my only job, to try to do better and to care and improve, well, I can do that. I can. I don't know if I can ever achieve this standard or that standard or the other standard with anything that's not super concrete anyway. But what I know I can do is try to improve over time. I know it won't be a steady pow 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 pow. It'll be like pow 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 pow. But as long as it's constantly over, if you look at it from a distance, if it's straight up, uh, if the little down dips wash out, then to me that's achieving an achievable goal. And I find that achievability of that goal very reassuring. And I try to convey that reassurance to the kids I work with and anybody else who were to ask me, um, that engaging in the process is an end in and of itself. And the fact that it guarantees you'll have other ends, namely completed things that you're able to look back on and say, I did that, is best thought of as a happy coincidence. So that's it for the topic of reassurance and this short video and this last video of the evening. I want to thank all the people who are in the room tonight for a somewhat off the rails session, as I transition between off meds to on meds again, and that sort of influences me a bit, and other things are in play. But I want to reassure you all that I very much appreciate you being here, and I appreciate your viewership if you are not in the room as well. Thanks for being here, and thanks for watching, and don't forget to eat plenty of cheese.